It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and Jasmine Brand is here.
Yes.
And this is a true legend in the building. Ralph McDaniels is here with us. And listen, so I've spoken to you before extensively about Video Music Box. You know, I grew up watching Uncle Ralph on Video Music Box. And you ventured into something new, right?
Yes.
Right now you have this Roscoe Learns About Video Music Box.
Yes.
And so this is an educational tool. So can you tell us about how you even ended up doing this to educate the younger kids about Video Music Box?
So, you know, I work with the library in New York.
I've been there, Queens Public Library.
Queens Public Library, yes, you have. And you've always been a friend of libraries. And so I was looking around and I was like, well, we need some more hip hop for the younger kids. And where is there a space for them? And I started looking at the children's books. And so the 7+ area seemed like a safe place for me because I wanted to keep it authentic to the culture. And so we started thinking about what a book would look like. And I had no idea that it would come out this fast. We worked on it with the writer, Shay Donaldson and Ed Hayes. And next thing I know, the book was in my hands, and I was like, oh, okay, we did a book, you know. And
this is more like a workbook,
it's
though.
a coloring workbook, yes. So it's not like a read where, you know, there are read, you know, you can read. I'd love to get Angela to read. And,
You know that. Listen, as you know, anytime you need me to be somewhere,
yes,
all you have to do is say the word.
Yes, and so it's exciting because going into these schools, I work in schools all the time. You know, you're around kids, and you know they just need a little help and something they can identify with. And I think that the hip hop is definitely where their head is at. It's not like, you know, the young school stuff that's out now, but it talks about hip hop culture and things that are going on right now, and also gives them a little bit of work. It's not even easy. It's like a little bit of it's real work you got to put into this.
Listen, I want to talk about your partnership too with the Queens Public Library and what you've been doing, the work you've been putting in there. What I love about the library that people don't talk about enough is it's not only about books, but there's a lot of other things that kids can learn.
Yes.
You know, I know here in our public library system, they can even learn how to edit video.
Yes.
There's a whole facility for that. They can learn how to podcast and do all those different kinds of things. So I always encourage kids to go in and do that. That's something great too, because I could imagine like a modern day, you know, young kids Video Music Box, what something like that could look like.
I like that. You want to executive produce it? I'm down with it. Let's do it.
Because honestly, like it's so different today when you think about what kids are like when they go out. You know, how often do you go to a party or a club? Because I know I barely go anymore. Right. What about you?
I don't really go unless I'm working and I'm
Right.
in that little vacuum that we're in, and then we do what we do, and then we leave. So I don't know what's going on, but I have an idea. It's a little crazy. You know, they doing their thing. It's not like back in the day. Well, the young kids dance. They have their dances and stuff. So that's not true. I was gonna say they don't dance anymore. They just.
But they definitely do. TikTok
right.
dances.
Yeah.
A dance to every
TikTok
song.
challenges.
Yes. Yes. But I think that, you know, there's you know, look, we used to be doing everything, and I'm sure they do whatever it is that they do in there and have fun. But, you know, look, it's a different time. That's all. It's a different time.
It is, but I think there's a lot of skill that comes along with being able to do something like this, right? When it comes to, there's a videographer, there's an editor, there's a producer, and then you're coming up with questions, you're keeping a conversation going, you're doing research. You know, it's not like, and people think you just go in front of the camera and it's easy.
You just wing it.
Even you being in a position of, you know, when you had to interview people, that's not an easy job.
Not at all.
To do.
In the middle of a crowd.
And also having to know things about people, because you go in there and people have to feel comfortable with you. You know, like back then, Jay-Z had to feel comfortable. He wasn't letting people in his sphere. Nas had to feel comfortable and safe to know that, you know, you've never been a shock jock. You've never tried to be the type of person that will capture something that could get somebody, you know, in trouble, or to go, quote, because back then there wasn't really like going viral.
Right.
You know, the way that it is now.
I appreciate that, you know, because you peeped that out. You know, a lot of people just didn't realize that I did have a relationship with them, and I wanted to keep that relationship with these artists. And, you know, be able to do other things, you know, outside of entertainment maybe. You know, so I kept that relationship with Jay, and Nas quite obviously just did my documentary with Mass Appeal for Showtime. And, you know, and it's fun when we're with each other. It's not really business. And even 50's like, man, I love when I'm sitting with you, Ralph, because I feel like I don't have to be 50 Cent. I could just be whoever from South Jamaica, Queens.
And even you moving from the space of interviewing people to like, okay, I want you to direct my video. That's a level of trust too, because it's not like you were pitching yourself like, hey, let me work on this. People were coming to you because of how much they trusted like what it was that you had done and built. And building something that you had no idea where it would land.
Yeah, no, we had no idea. It was all something in my head, a vision I woke up with one day and said, I think I could do this. And nobody knew what I was talking about when I first started because it didn't exist. And so that's for anybody who's listening, like, don't worry about that. Just do it. Go through the process, walk through it. Don't be, a lot of times people are fearful of things. I'm fearful of things now. And, I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't want to look crazy. But don't worry about that. Just do it. I'm a little bit older now, so I know how to go through the process. But when I was younger, there were probably things that I could have accomplished maybe 30 years ago that I didn't do because I was fearful of it.
You think that when you're younger, you're more fearful? Or when you get older? Because I feel like when I was younger, I might have taken more risks. And then now you kind of like...
You did. Yeah.
Thank God no one was there to document that. But,
I think we take we stay in a lane that we're comfortable with and that we feel like we can talk about this. But sometimes, somebody says, well, I think you should do that. And it just doesn't feel comfortable. So you kind of like, I don't know. And you waste time. Years go by before you do it. Like, I know this was so easy. I could have done this 10 years ago.
Yeah, you get to the point where I like to do things that are challenging. And then when you figure it out, you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
Right.
You have to do it first. When Ray DeJean was up here, he was talking about how Video Music Box really helped him, too.
Yeah.
Was it hard for you when you weren't hosting and had other people hosting? Because that's your baby. And so sometimes you look at stuff and you're like, are they doing that how I would have done it? Or how was that for you, sometimes giving up the reins?
Yeah, I could be an idiot and I'd be like, you should have asked them this. You should have said this. You didn't ask them the main thing. And, but, people, I got used to people being themselves. And the hardest part of what we do is managing personalities. That's the hardest part of everything, and letting people do what they do and feel comfortable about it. And then giving them some tips on, things that they, you should do a little homework. That's okay, but we'll tighten it up. We'll edit it and make it work. So,
would you like to ever do a reimagined version of Video Music Box?
What is a reimagined version?
Or the same thing? Or would you like to do, something?
Yeah, I mean,
like updated, or I don't think it's outdated, but I don't know if you have a different remix in your mind.
Yeah, I used to watch what's the show with the news, TMZ, right? And I'd be like, I could be like the guy in the back, Harvey, and let them do what they do.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't have to be on set all the time. I pop up every once in a while and they want to get the OG's opinion on it.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, because I feel like there's also not like the lane for videos to be seen on a program anymore.
Right, yeah.
The way it is now, like we'll see it launch on, YouTube or on Instagram, somebody puts their video out, or on TikTok.
Right.
But there's no program where it's like people are actually playing
Tuned
the
in at
videos,
10
talking
o'clock,
about
yeah.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think people want to see that. There's so many creative artists, there's so many creative directors out here. I love the content that I see, and I'm like, it goes into this machine of Instagram, and then, for a week you see it, and then it's gone,
Right.
And so where do we find it? I don't even remember the title of it, how do we find these things? I remember one of the executives at, Viacom telling me, the people are not interested in watching videos, they'll watch it on YouTube. I said, but how do they know it's on YouTube? Like, how do they know where to find these things? So.
Yeah, because usually I see videos like if I'm following somebody and then they post it, but I don't know, how do I know?
Yeah,
like,
I think sometimes I see what's trending, and it has to be something that stands out in the video, and then it starts trending. Then you're like, oh, what is this? It's not, unless you're a hardcore fan, you're not gonna know when their video's coming out.
Yeah, and you see something that came out a year ago or 2 years ago. It was like, I never saw this in my life. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
This is amazing. Who is this artist?
I see videos when I get my hair done. I'm like, I never seen any of these videos.
Now, look, do you watch Tubi movies?
I somewhat do.
Because I've been seeing some of that stuff trending.
Yeah. That's trending right now, which is cool for the filmmakers and folks that don't necessarily have big budgets, or they just, they somehow got it to Tubi, and that's their lane, and they're going to continue to make films for Tubi, which is fine. I think that we've always had a place where we can find, hip hop has always had a place where we could find certain things that we just would never see in mainstream.
Right.
We never see it on
Angie
mainstream.
like her some Tubi movies.
Listen,
Right.
and a lot of people, what I like is that it levels the playing field and other people can monetize, so you're not relying on these big studios to make things happen.
Yes.
You can actually get out there and make it happen for yourself. And sometimes just doing things is the best education. There is something to be said for going to school and being able to afford to take classes, but then there's a whole nother, the learn it yourself and do it, and that's how you learn type of education too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I love it. There's plenty of great filmmakers out here. They started making music videos first, or started making content for the internet or whatever, and now they're doing their thing with Tubi, and that maybe we'll get them to another platform. That'll be great. Yeah.
And I think for you, Uncle Ralph, people came to you because, like I said, they wanted you to work with them. So even you doing this book, you had no idea, the lane that this could have you going. So what have you learned from this whole process, and what's the vision that you see?
The most important thing to me was the education part of it. And so when I started looking at some of the workbook stuff in it, I was like, I don't really know about this as much as I should. So I started to do a little homework in what some of the institutions like schools and libraries and wherever that young people are at and they're learning, I wanted to learn from them. And I took it to teachers first. I said, tell me what you think. And my aunt is a retired teacher. And I said, I really need your honest opinion. And she was like, this is amazing. I said, no, don't say it because it's me. I want to know. Right. And she says, no. This is exactly what I've been pushing for our kids to have, and we just don't have it. And I was like, okay, I like that. And so, they're learning about our culture, and there's other things to do here. And, then, I heard about, coloring books are a cool thing right now. Like adults are used.
Adult
it's therapy.
Too, yeah.
Right.
They say the color inside the lines.
Yes. And so that part, it falls into that situation. And it's all a culture. It's just what kids, as when I was a kid, this is what I would want.
Right.
And
I
that's
could
what I
see
did.
some Video Music Box kids clothes. I just bought Jasmine's daughter some Rock the Bells Gap sweats, which is so cute. Like, I love that. I love that we're able to take things, and I know, like, look, a lot of people are doing things. It's the 50th anniversary of hip hop. Right. It's the 40th anniversary of Video Music Box also, by the way.
Yes.
And a lot of brands are trying to incorporate, like, some throwback hip hop, some fundamentals into the mix. But I also, while I look at it like, okay, but I also look at it like, I like that.
Yeah.
Like, I like to be able to see, I want to see her daughter wearing, like, some sweats with Rock the Bells, with LL Cool J's face
on the
on
leg.
it.
Yeah.
You
She don't know what she going to be wearing.
And so that's why I like this, because it is important for the younger generation to understand. Like, a kid could be doing this. Roscoe learns about Video Music Box, and now they know this was the 40th anniversary. This is Ralph McDaniels. Yeah. He's a man behind Video Music Box. Those things are important for people to understand, our history. Those are always the most fascinating documentaries and stories to me, like how things got started.
Yeah. No, we have to do it. As, we get older, I'm older now. I've been, around this for 40 years. I'm like, okay, what do I do right now? I'm not, necessarily with a 20-year-old or 25-year-old. Where can I fit in and what can I do? And I tell some of my peers that, are my age and been around hip hop for a long time, I don't know if you need to make a song again. Like, I'm not sure. You can do that for you. You can do that for you.
I don't know if you need to put it out.
But you clearly can communicate with people. You've been doing this. Stop it. You can clearly communicate with people, and I think you should get into this space because you can talk. If it's radio, podcasting, if it's, going to schools and just reading the book, whatever it is. And I think it's great. There are people like A. Marie has a book club, and I follow her,
Me too.
And I
She
want
came
to
up
know.
here.
Oh, yeah, she's
we had her up
awesome.
here to talk about her book club.
Yeah, and so, I'm like, I got to get this to A. Marie,
Right.
So this is, because she'll get it, It's her world, and I don't know how she got into that, but there are plenty of folks that are just into books and, and they would be able to distribute them to the right people and get them into their spaces.
I mean, I would be into seeing, Ralph McDaniels, like, behind the videos of some classic videos, because you debuted a lot of those on Video Music Box. I want to ask you, with a limited amount of time on the show for you to play videos. I remember I interned at MTV, right? Mm-hmm. And they would present to the music manager a video, and then they would have a music meeting every week to see like what could get onto the air. People had to actually pitch it, and they would be pitching hard. Like I remember Diddy, we went to Daddy's house when I was interning, and the person, Fred Jordan was his name, who I was interning for. And it was like a whole to-do. Like they had champagne, they had drinks. They were like, okay, we're going to play the video.
Oh, wow.
And so it was really like, did people have to come to you and kind of pitch their videos? Because, it wasn't like everything was going to make it on the air.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, people would come. Jay and Rockefeller days, they would come with the champagne and all of that, and it'd be in a basket and the videos in the middle, and I'd be like, okay.
The gift box. Like,
right.
All right, put this on next week.
Can you talk about some of the big videos that you debuted?
Wow. All of them. I mean, there's nothing up to, like once it got to about 97, then, we would, MTV. See, the way I would beat MTV to the punch is because you had to go through a process.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's a whole process.
Yeah, a lot of red tape.
People had to pitch, then they had to prove it.
Yeah.
Then they might be like, oh, we can't air this because it has this word or it has,
So they just had to get to you.
All they had to do was come to the office. Like if my show came on at 3:30, 2 o'clock, somebody showed up with the video, and then Puff would be like, yo, please play it right now. And I'll be like, I got you. It's Craig Mack or it's, Black Rob or whoever it is. And we would play it because I knew that we were, the thing about hip hop is we want to hear it first.
Right. Yeah.
And I said, okay, if I can get it to the airways first.
It's exclusive.
Yeah, then I got it exclusive. And so that was always my position on it, yeah.
Remember people used to spend $1 million on a video?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Hype Williams.
Yeah.
Hype was my assistant. He started with me.
Really?
And he, we started doing videos. I gave him the first couple of videos. He lived in Queens on Linden Boulevard. And I pick him up, get in the car, and we would drive. And he worked in our art department. And then he said, I want to do videos. And I said, all right. I said, try this one. And people wanted me to do it. I'm like, no, this kid is good. He got an eye. And then he became, Hype and, one of the most amazing directors, hip-hop directors ever.
How were you able to first start monetizing when you started Video Music Box? Like, how long did that take to figure out, like, how are we going to make some money off of this? Because we do have people to pay. It does cost money to be able to do this work.
Yeah, and we were on a non-commercial station. And so,
what was it, Channel 31?
Yeah, Channel 31. And so people started hiring me to host parties. And the parties were packed. And they were charging like $20 or whatever to get in. And then I would see like 2,000 people, 3,000 people. And I was like, I think we should do our own party. Because they just giving me like $1,000.
Right.
And they making like $40,000. I was like, oh, wait a minute. So let's try it out. And so that's how we started trying out. So then once I saw, it's a whole different ball game right now. So we started being a promoter, and we started doing our own thing, and that's how we made money back then, because there wasn't, the music business has always been, there are people, look, the street cats are going to come and be like, yo, Ralph, here, they want to pay you. But all money is not good money if you're out there doing your thing.
Yeah, right.
So stay away from that there, because you don't want that. So you don't want that. Trust me.
You want them kind of problems.
Right.
And now they're like, okay, you going to put my man's video on?
Right, yeah.
It
keep going. And so we just wanted to, be aware of everything that was happening out there. So we played the street stuff, we played the label stuff, and just so I could beat people to the punch.
Right.
And then at the same time, I was directing videos. So, I was making a living off of that, really, not as much off of Video Music Box. I was really making a living off of all the videos that I did, Wu-Tang Cream, and people was like, what's Wu-Tang? What's Cream? They didn't even know what Wu-Tang was. And I was like, it's going to be something. I feel it. And then all of a sudden, it was the biggest thing ever.
And then for you to have worked, like you said, with Nas and Mass Appeal to do the whole documentary that was on Showtime about Video Music Box, that had to feel like a whole, 360 from the beginning, from somebody that he came to you to work with him. Like, I just want you to do your video music box thing, to now I'm working with Nas to actually put out a whole documentary.
Yeah.
Whose idea was that? Was that yours or his?
It was my idea. I had a deal originally with HBO
Okay.
and Mark Wahlberg
Oh, wow.
in the middle of the pandemic. And it just dragged out and dragged out and dragged out.
So Mark Wahlberg initially wanted to do
Yeah,
the video
yeah.
music
I
box?
can see that.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
remember, he used to rap
he's
the
a
Funky
rapper.
Bunch.
Right.
He hates when people bring that up, too.
I know.
So it's crazy because I'm having conversations with him, and and it's dragging out, and it's like I'm like, this is taking too long, and our contract ran out, and Sasha Jenkins from Mass Appeal said, hey, what do you think, if we take it to Showtime? I said, well, take it. And him and Nas went to a meeting with like 10 different ideas. And the first thing the guy said was, the guy who does video music?
Oh,
And they were
nice.
like, yeah. And they were like, we want to do that one.
You never know who's looking for you, too.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
honestly.
beautiful.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes you don't even know your own power.
Right. I had no idea. And so that was it. And Nas wasn't directing at first.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like about 3 months in, Nas said, I want to direct that. I said, you don't have time to do this. You're an artist, bro. You running around the country. And he's like, no, this is close to my heart. I grew up watching you. You've been to my house. You seen my mother when she was alive. You know me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah. I said, all right, it didn't take me too long to think about Nas doing it.
All right. Bye, Mark. Now, you know how Angie has this Tupac interview that she still is like, has not put out. I don't know if she ever will. Do you have any interviews that you're like hesitant to ever put out because you're like, oh, they were talking a little wild, a little crazy? I don't know what her reason is.
Right.
But do you have anything that you're like, this doesn't feel like I should put it out, that you've never?
I probably do. Like you said, I'm not a shock jock at all. I wasn't like that. And so there's probably things that we edited, and I'm still playing the edited version of it and forgetting that there was a whole reason why we edited it out. Because we did interviews with everybody from Big to Jay to Nas to Pac, and you in a club and people are drinking and they just talking crazy, and
Right.
and I'd be like,
And that is true. In a club with the drinks,
Yeah, of
people
course.
will
People being themselves.
saying
Yeah.
anything. Yeah.
exactly, they're being themselves.
And they're talking to you, so they're comfortable.
right. And I'm just going, oh, we can't play that.
Has anybody ever asked you not to play something, like the next day woke up? That's happened to me, where they the next day realized what they said and been like, yo, could you take that out? And they definitely did. That happened one day when I was like guest hosting on Drink Champs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
They was drinking.
Exactly, before it comes out. Because sometimes it is also like, well, it's hard because
Yeah.
there's a balance of this is going to be big, but then there's also the responsibility that you have to know that like you're not trying to cause any problems.
Right.
And
you out here in these streets,
I'm outside. For real.
So, you just have to, look, you want to be a responsible journalist, and some people, don't care about that in journalism at all. They just want to play the raw. And I'm like, nah, let's not use that.
Right.
Let's not use that.
Are there times when you feel like you've done interviews and people have tried to like put things out for a salacious headline?
Right. Not too much with me.
Okay.
Nah, not too much with me because they know I'll be
You're
looking
like, I
at
didn't even
them.
say that like that.
Right.
Why did we?
Yeah, they know I'll be looking at them crazy. Like, what?
What?
Well, so can we look forward to Roscoe Learns About Video Music Box? Is this going to be like an ongoing series? Are you
Yes.
already planning to like, roll some more out?
Yeah, so this is basically the video music box story, but there'll be other hip hop related, just in general hip hop stories, because that's originally what they wanted to do, and I was
Right.
like, nah, let's do it about video music box.
Yeah.
I know about video music box. Let's,
No, it makes
let's
sense.
do that.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
It would be. Where can we get
Roscoe
this?
says, protect your neck.
Exactly.
That's a
That
good
would be a
one.
good
So
one.
you can get it online now at Itasco Books. It's
Okay.
ITASCABOOKS. And for the holidays, around Black Friday, they'll be in retail.
Oh, I
Nice.
love it.
Yeah.
I'm already thinking of some other books.
Books.
Let's talk about sex. We can have one with salt and pepper theme. Like we can talk about
That might be for
health
older,
and
yeah.
education. No, you learned that health education.
This is 7. This is 7-year-olds.
Yeah, that one might have to be like
Might have
12.
to- yeah, it might have to
You see her?
Yeah, they got to maybe go over age.
Pushing the culture forward.
I'm just saying that was a responsible,
Yeah.
way to go about it. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure. I love when I get a chance to see you out and, invite me back to the library.
Yes. Oh,
I
they
could
loved
read
you when
and
she
color.
came. Oh man, she was amazing. You were amazing. And the library was packed, so they loved you out there in Queens. Come on out.
All right. Well, any way that I can assist in that, I work with the New York Public Library.
Yes.
So, and within that system, anything like when it comes to education, I'm fully on board.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Ralph McDaniels. Uncle Ralph. Roscoe Learns About Video Music Box. Where can they get it again?
Itasco Books, or follow me at Video Music Box, and you can find out. We're going to do book signings and all kinds of stuff in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, Roscoe Learns About Cream, and then we can do something about like money and finances.
There you go.
Okay.
That'd
There
be
you
a
go.
good book.
That's
Okay,
you.
Angela.
Yes.
Okay. All right. It's way up.